McDonald's had always been company number one in Russia. It had the most profits, the longest lines, most stores. It was number one to enter Soviet Union, and it also was the first one to leave Russia in early March of 2022 after the start of special military operation in Ukraine. Right after the company closed all the stores, it happened simultaneously on one evening. There were a few voices of Russian people celebrating and being joyous. But in this video, I will tell you why I personally think that McDonald's leaving Russia is a huge tragedy for the market, for the society, and for Russian people in general. Let's do it. If you're here for the first time, my name is Konstantin and welcome to Inside Russia, where I try to explain how it is to be living in this new country that was born on March 24th of 2022. And it's been evolving right in front of our eyes. And if you're a returning viewer, then thank you so much. You're awesome and you rock. Please keep on coming back for more updates like this one. McDonald's was one of the first companies, if not the first, to leave Russia. It was not pressured by any government, by United Nations or by, societies, anything. McDonald's made an independent decision to leave Russian market due to its own ethics of doing business. McDonald's opening in Russia in January of 1990 wasn't just an ordinary business event. Well, basically, there was no business back then in my country. And McDonald's, I don't know how they did it, but they broke the ice. They got through the Iron Curtain and they did a significantly huge deal for us, regular Russian people. They showed us that on the other side of the Iron Curtain, a new world existed. The world that was not sinister as we had been told many generations and decades before, but the world that could produce something magnificent, colorful, tasty. The McDonald's was sort of a showcase of the West and Soviet Union, and everyone who got a glimpse learned that the people in the West were not evil or bloodthirsty or warmongering, but rather smiled, were joyous, happy, and fed us.
Потрясает здесь вот эта вся чистота, красота. И чувствуется, как будто ты вот где-то в другом городе.
Люди хорошие, продавцы, не ругаются, не кричат, спасибо, пожалуйста, и добрые все, улыбающиеся. Приятно просто ходить, даже не для того, чтобы купить, а просто смотреть приятно.
Раньше мне говорили, что на Западе все какие-то там, как сказать, дикие, все ходят, друг друга убивают. А теперь я вот сейчас, когда сюда пришел, я увидел, что вот можно спокойно прийти вот сюда, посидеть вот, выпить там стаканчик кока-колы.
Вот раньше, когда я был маленький, я думал, что вот они все такие, вот только и думаю, что ядерные ракеты запускают. На самом деле нет, вот они не такие уж и воинственные. И даже наоборот вот сделали хорошо, что открыли вот у нас в Советском Союзе вот ресторан.
McDonald's was the wake-up event. People started waking up and asking themselves questions. And the rest is history. Now, after 32 years, in 2022, McDonald's is finally closed all the doors. Not because it was forbidden to operate in Russia, not because it was sanctioned by other countries or threatened by, American or Canadian government or European governments, but McDonald's made a conscious decision due to its ethics of conducting business. And I understand that decision quite well. Some Russians immediately started celebrating. Oh, McDonald's is fast food, fatty, not good for you. Americans are just trying to make a buck on us and trying to feed us bad, unhealthy food, and burden of 32 years eating unhealthy is finally off our shoulders. And we're gonna replace McDonald's with Russian food that's gonna be absolutely wonderful, tasty, and good for our health. I don't understand how a person who has gone through high school in Russia and university possibly could have such an opinion. To me, it's complete ignorance. My personal opinion, McDonald's closing doors in Russia is a huge tragedy. I had a chance to witness this historic moment, and I was one of the very last customers who had a Big Mac meal. Check out my video of eating the Big Mac meal at the last minutes of McDonald's in Russia, right here. So, why do I think McDonald's leaving Russia is a tragedy? There are 4 reasons. Reason number 1. McDonald's in Russia was more just a chain of fast food. It was a historical event, cultural event, an educational event. That company back in 1990 had the guts to get into our country. It didn't get into the Soviet market because it was not such a thing, but it got into the country and actually started creating the market, free market economy. It showed us the way. I mean, it showed us what can be achieved in a free society, in a free market economy. And that was amazing. Enough have been said in my other videos. Please go and check them out. McDonald's was definitely much more than just a fast food chain. It was larger than Russian life itself. Reason number 2. With McDonald's leaving the Russian market, our country has lost a lot of innovations and education. McDonald's is actually not very known fact, but it's one of the most innovative companies in the world, and its strength is in science of scaling up. It does scaling up globally so successfully, and it's using latest technologies in business. Its business model is amazing. Many people who hired by McDonald's, they get experience in the company, then leave and start their own food businesses. It's a great educational experience for so many thousands of people here. Its importance is hard to underestimate, yet somehow in Russia, no one thinks about it. The reason number 3 is very simple: economics. Russia is going to lose lots of money. McDonald's Russia employed 62,000 people, and all of a sudden, they're gonna be jobless in a couple months. In a couple months, because McDonald's keeps on paying salaries to people who are not employed anymore for 2 more months. Imagine that, 62,000 people unemployed. Last year alone, McDonald's netted over 4 billion rubles in pure profit after taxes and all expenses. Over 4 billion rubles. How much in taxes Russian budget received from McDonald's? A lot. Not anymore. Well, enough about Mickey D. Let's take a pause and have a cup of really, really good coffee. Much better than McDonald's. Привет. Ну что, как оно? Как дела? Порядок? Как бизнес?
Цены растут, выручка растет.
Цены растут, зарплаты падают. Не, кофеек обычно, капучино большой и булку хлеба, да. Look, I came in here and I totally forgot that my Apple Pay stopped working and I only had telephone on me. But this guy knows me, so he sold me coffee and a loaf of bread right here, and basically under my word that I will come back and bring the money a little bit later today. That's pretty cool. Reason number 4. McDonald's was a great jump start into life for many, many young people. In Russia, over 60% of McDonald's employees employed were students, and that was their first job. I think all over the world it's like that, not just in Russia. Imagine how many people kind of cut their teeth first at McDonald's, got the first job experience, got the first skills, business skills, communication skills, working with customer skills and so forth, had a chance in life, a better chance in life with McDonald's, it can't really be underestimated as well. Yet somehow in Russia it's kind of forgotten and not mentioned. And reason number 5 why I think McDonald's leaving Russia is a huge tragedy is my favorite reason. It contradicts the opinions of many, many Russians. McDonald's has good food. I said it. Well, don't throw rocks into me yet. I will explain. Actually, food in McDonald's is crap. It's fast food at its best, worst. One cannot live eating McDonald's food all the time. Health problems will follow. But that's just like any other fast food, you know. If you eat fast food burgers, fries, and wash it down with Coke, you're not gonna be all right very, very soon. And McDonald's was not an exception. Although, where it was an exception is food safety. And I learned it in a very hard way. For not eating at McDonald's, I landed in a hospital for 2 weeks. And let me tell you a personal story. After returning to Russia from the USA in 2004, I got right in the middle of lots of work. I remember one time in February, we were participating in a bid to construct an electrical substation for a large aluminum plant. And we had been working hard on selling that project for 3 months. And I was one of the directors of that project. I worked pretty hard. We went to the very final meeting with the customer to negotiate last price drops, so to speak, discounts. We were in the meeting for like 3.5 hours. I got out. All my colleagues, you know, we had cars. They drove to the office and I needed to stop by some other place. I was very hungry. It was right in the center of Moscow. Metro Taganskaya. I still remember the place. And there were a couple places. First was McDonald's, just a regular McDonald's. And the second one was a Russian, small, tiny fast food kiosk. Deep fried pierogies with meat. Okay, in Russia they call chebureki. I looked at McDonald's and I figured, hey, I ate at McDonald's in the USA for such a long time. I'd rather have something authentic, something unique, unusual, Russian. So I decided to go with chebureki. And I ate 2 of them. They were very cheap. They were like 1/4 of the price of McDonald's meal. And I ate 2 of them. And that evening I ended up in the hospital with huge stomach infection because I ate bad food. I ended up spending 2 weeks in that hospital. Very painful, very unpleasant. By the way, we were awarded that contract, so it was not in vain. And in the hospital, I lost some 30 pounds. Once I returned to office after 2 weeks, people were asking me, hey, what happened? You know, and I told them that I ate chebureki at this fast food kiosk. And people would start laughing at me. They would say, hey, why would you do something like that if you could have a McDonald's right next door? Then I learned that the biggest advantage of McDonald's food is safety. McDonald's has very, very tight, high standards for food safety. I have yet to learn one case of person getting sick from eating food at McDonald's. Yes, it's full of fat, trans fats, yes. You know, it's not tasty, it's plasticky. The food is basically terrible, but it's safe. If you get caught hungry someplace and you need something quick to eat, you know, a quick bite, you can be absolutely sure that if you stop by and eat at McDonald's, nothing is going to happen to you. And that's a huge, huge reason why I think McDonald's leaving Russia is a tragedy. 850 restaurants closed, and it means now in Russia we have 850 fewer safe places to have a quick bite to eat. Now, check out this video right here, where I go to McDonald's at the last moments before it closes doors and get the very last Big Mac meal in Russia. I'll see you right here.